Okay.
Okay, meeting will come to order. We've got two, permit conclusions, so. The first is Clark Investment Properties. Jason, you know, come up and walk us through the finals. So this is, permit 24-401 Clark Investment Properties LLC requesting final plat review of a two-lot subdivision subject to Bristol Unified Development Regulations, Article 9, Section 941. Jason's here. He was here for the preliminary back in December.
You'll also be representing the clerks tonight here.
Yeah, Martin had a game tonight
Okay,
and Kathleen's with him.
so, okay,
They
so you.
wish they could be here, but they would rather be at the
you
game.
don't get that.
So is he playing or is he coaching?
Martin, he's the varsity basketball coach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
No, has been for a number of years.
He wasn't when I was there.
You solemnly swear the evidence you shall give before this development review board shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Take us through, this is the two lot, this is where you're carving off the one small lot. It's
The
big
one-
en- It's
one-
big enough for the zone and village mix, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We were here, I guess the preliminary was in December.
Right, December 10th.
On the easterly portion of the property, obviously, I think everybody is familiar with the parcel.
Yeah.
On Hewitt Road, there's a number of residential rental units, which Martin and Kathleen purchased, I think a year and a half, maybe so ago, somewhere around there. Yeah, that's the two of them. What they're looking to do, their daughter and son-in-law, would like to build a home in Bristol, be close to town. And they came to us, about subdividing off the easterly portion of the property,
Which is lot 2. on
which
the-
is lot 2.
On the map, okay.
0.83 acres in size. There actually used to be, number of years ago, I don't recall, but I guess there was a mobile home there at one point in time. Right about where, the residence is proposed for the new parcel.
That burned down, right?
Burned down. There was, an existing wastewater system that was there. And it was connected to the water supply that is currently in place. Electing to have this parcel be a standalone parcel with its own wastewater system, its own drilled well, and not connect onto the system, that really alleviates a lot of concerns in terms of permitting, because there already are a number of homes constructed or connected to this water system. State water and wastewater permit was issued, I believe, in December. AZ, I think you did get a copy of that.
So that's
permit.
real well, and it's in septic.
Well and septic,
And it's
and
this is the only structure on that septic.
correct, yep. And as part of that, we did have to identify replacement areas, because that hasn't been done to this point, so we did identify replacement areas for the existing structure. That parcel does meet
Yeah, so
the
we
dimensional standards.
we're in village mix, right, AZ?
Yes.
All right, so that's 15,000 square foot minimum. We're well above that.
Yep.
We've got rear yard setback 25 feet, side yard 15. Front yard 40-foot setback.
And all of the building envelopes on.
You can meet all those.
Yep.
So on the application, originally there was a street name or a road name that had began with an A or.
Austin Drive.
Yeah, so which one's Austin? Right.
Well, there's only one Austin
Yeah,
Drive,
okay.
that's for the three.
Okay, so
the
so it's
whole
not this
property.
driveway furthest to the northeast.
Correct.
Okay,
It's the
is that
one
the width of the property?
in amongst the other homes, just at the bottom of the map here shown.
That's correct.
So the driveway to the northeast says gravel drive, that's gonna be the driveway for the house?
That's an existing drive that'll be shared. The reason why we use the 23 Austin Drive is that's what comes up with. the-
Sure, okay.
Property identification. So you can see by the map with the survey plat, the green lines that AZ has on, that's the building envelope, all without setbacks.
So it's probably gonna have a different designation since it gets carved off from the other,
It probably will once it gets,
because it's not even Austin Drive, it's not even gonna be Austin Drive, it's gonna have a Hewitt Road.
it'll have a Hewitt Road.
With 911.
But typically we don't, they usually don't issue the 911 permits, the 911 address until you actually
buildings up.
get the zoning permit. That's
Okay.
what triggers that.
Yep. So that will change. So I think on your final plat, we probably don't wanna be saying, well, you tell me, it says 23 Austin Drive, I think that's gonna be confusing.
But that's the whole parcel.
Yeah,
So currently the whole parcel is under 23 Austin
Okay.
Drive. I guess our preference would be to keep it. And just, I guess the board members know that
yeah,
Martin and Kathleen are looking to actually create individual lots for these parcels as part of the phase too, so.
okay,
Keeping that consistent, that's how it comes up when.
okay.
Is what is the mailing address for what will be this parcel at Austin Drive or or the other drive name?
It'll likely be, John, just so you, it'll likely be Hewitt Road, but they won't actually issue a 911 designation until you pull a zoning permit for the building, so you don't get that until later on. So we have the 23 Austin Drive, that's what comes up with the lister's card and is on file with the county.
That was the whole lot that was sold, the whole parcel.
Correct.
So, so if I heard you right earlier, you're gonna share the gravel drive that's sort of to the northeast. There's other homes off the map here, there, and there's an address that might go with that, or depending, you're not gonna have a new road, like a driveway, road cut.
No new curb cut. There's an existing shared drive that does do a Y as soon as you get internal to the property, which does have adequate turning radiuses to get out on Hewitt Road. The driveway would be short, impervious area would be minimal. The soils are excellent on that across the whole property.
So that driveway, Jason's gonna be shared with the Benson property?
Oh, no,
I see Benson there, that refers to the next property to the north.
that's an existing drive, Kevin. Yeah, we're gonna be served right here. This is the big map. So Hewitt Road,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
there's an existing drive
Yeah.
into this duplex here.
Oh, I see it now. I missed that. I see it.
I thought we were talking about this one.
Nope. That's,
Okay,
no
glad we
right of way.
clarified that.
Shows up very nicely on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go off of the road that goes diagonally off of the lot 1 to the northeast, and then you're gonna extend the driveway into lot 2.
Correct.
Got it.
There's an existing drive. It will be relatively short. And, it's a very flat site, very conducive for a house.
Has anything changed in substantively about the proposal since we last saw it, other than the information getting finer and refined, but nothing substantial about the project has changed? It's not a different.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we tweaked some when my survey crew went down and shot into the building, but we're talking a couple of feet here or there with shifting the proposed subdivision line to meet all the setbacks. The parcel has already been surveyed, so we tied into what was done previously with a survey. And then just cleaned up a few things with regards to, polishing up the maps, but it's all the same.
Just out of curiosity, not that this matters at all in this deliberation, but how does it perk down there? Is that what's going on? Is that just river gravel there?
It's beautiful, sand and gravel, cobbles, no water table. It's exceptional.
And so the water table's like not. I always wonder about other parts of Hewitt Road where that spring is a little further east there, and it's low in the springtime. You can see the more western side of end of Hewitt Road is wet, but not so much here. This looks like a little bit of a hill.
Yeah, so right up where the house sits, there's actually a divide, sort of a groundwater divide that protects some of those springs and some of the wells right next to Hewitt Road. But this sort of sits up on a level sort of hill plateau that's about 5 or 6 feet above where there's any concerns of water table.
And it's all basically ancient riverbed all throughout there, sort of.
It is, it's
Yeah.
alluvial sands and gravels.
Yeah, cool, great. Thank you.
Anything else? We get through your list.
Have everything here.
You said they already have their wastewater permit.
They do.
Yeah.
Yep, we applied for that in November.
And then you've got it. Okay.
By the way, I appreciated your listing all of the dimensions that are listed in the zoning, because usually I have to go find something to. look
I
at.
get sick of flipping open the zoning book too, so if it's on the maps and my guys are trained to put it on there, it certainly is helpful.
It is.
Any other questions from the board before we open it up?
No other questions?
Pardon?
No other
Oh,
questions.
does anybody from the public have a question or comment? Tell us who we are and
My name's Fred Schroeder. I own, Wheels.
We own a very hot.
Yep.
And I'm not objecting to it at all. Just one question. Are there lot size minimums? that are
Yes.
On that area?
15,000 square feet.
15,000 square feet.
This one is more than sufficient.
Okay. And like, does Martin and Kathleen plan on developing more of that property?
They have looked at that, and one thing they want to do, and one thing that Martin and Kathleen have looked at was in terms of affordable housing, they actually have approached us about subdividing, creating some parcels with the existing buildings that are there. So that you can actually sell something to somebody. So right now, they obviously have to purchase this. This is not a property that just anybody can get a mortgage for, because there's
That's for sure.
8. There's 8 homes on.
I was shocked the first time you came in with this. I couldn't believe that it was all one lot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when I saw it. I was like, I could have sworn we had 2 or 3 lots there.
Yeah,
But
no, it's.
they would like to in the future look at carving off some of those existing houses that are there. Just so they could. Potentially, if they wanted to sell one, or a young couple wanted to buy one and rent out one of the duplexes, that's what they'd like to say.
So, I'm sorry, so they potentially would want to just carve out the houses, but they wouldn't want to like carve out a chunk of land to build a house on?
They would look at it, yeah, potentially.
Subdivision?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if they subdivide, if they want to make more lots.
We'd have to come back in here.
Subdivide.
Right,
Yeah.
So that's,
so would that cause additional runoff then down into our property with all of the natural gravel being either asphalt or packed dirt or?
but right now, there's nothing, that's not proposed at all.
Yeah, and actually, and I'm familiar because I did the permit for
And
their
maybe
lot
that's
too,
not
so.
there.
I did that one, I did the permits for the house next door. And I wouldn't be concerned with runoff from you, because if you look at where the topo contours are, your parcel actually sits up above this 405 contour.
It does-
Where-
it's a little low.
Yours runs towards. Anything that would be coming off of the investment property would actually get intercepted by the low point and go towards the other properties that they already own above where the gingerbread house is.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
go off
that
in
makes
that
sense.
direction. So yours is pretty well protected, pretty well isolated from, if you're talking stormwater runoff.
Yeah,
You
it
know.
is elevated a little bit.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Any other questions or?
Sean has one.
Just a comment, really, not really a question. Again, not really bearing on our question here today, but as the owners look at developing this particular parcel, I hope they might look at the placement and size and whatever of the main residence and consider, because this is ultimately a fairly large lot. It's a nice sized lot. There's some ADU potential there, and so that might be something they want to preserve if as an option down the road, and they don't want to build themselves out of that option, if you know what I mean.
Well, we just started down the road. This was the first step. They really wanted to get there
One step at a time.
one step at a time. daughter and son-in-law a place where they could build a house.
Anybody else? Ed?
Looks good.
Dale? Rebecca?
I would move that we approve this.
Hold on, gallery,
Oh.
it's going twice.
Jumping the gun.
Nope, okay, we can make a motion.
I'd like to move that we approve this, if that's appropriate.
Second.
All right, any further discussion from the board? Is there anything that's not on? That needs to get added on to the final plat, that's not there? I'm looking at,
That's the site plan that you have.
yeah, I'm looking at overall subdivision plan S1.
Yep. That's.
And, don't see a date on it. There we go.
It's in the- Yeah, all our dates are on the title block.
Yeah, I know. Why am I not? Now I got it, 11/25 for that one. Yeah, okay, so that's the right date, 11/25.
And this is just the subdivision we're looking at here, and this is not a,
This
You know,
is just, this is
yeah, at
just.
some point in the future, there will be a building.
Correct. Yeah, one step at a time. We'll be back in.
Well, not for us, the
No.
building permit is go to AZ.
Oh, the building permit, yeah.
All right, any further discussion of the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. John's a yes, so we've got 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paint hats.
I'll switch gears, leave another map out.
The Thomas maps have not changed since the,
Let me get these out of my way.
so I have the big maps for everyone.
All right,
I just have the big lot.
well, that's fine. Let's hope.
Yeah, we get the big.
I'll take any papers you don't want.
Here's the small file.
Thank you. I brought a bunch of, I brought the stuff that I had from the first one. Yeah, and then I got spread out on the dining room table and we got mixed up between what's tonight and what's from before.
Yeah, I think those.
Okay, this is the second matter before us tonight. It's permit number 22-403 Thomas North Street LLC requesting final plat review of a 6-unit PUD application subject to Bristol Unified Development Regulations, Article 9. All right, so
I forget, where does this come off North Street?
What's the name of the one that goes back to the Francis? Francis Place.
this,
Yeah.
just north of it.
Okay,
Francis Place, yeah, so this just, it would be literally 30 feet north of that, the intersection.
it sounds like it's one of the places that was owned by Happiness.
No, that still was a boosted development, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's big. Boosted happening.
You before, you folks, we solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give before this development and review board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. So identify yourselves for the folks tuning in.
I'm Amber Thomas.
Adam Thomas.
Okay, so I see. Since the last time we gave you homework with from the from the fire department, chief of the fire department, and we've got that.
Got that letter
We've
of
got that
support.
very detailed.
Yep.
Nicely detailed letter. No, it's great.
Yep.
You know, that's the more specificity we have on these things, the better. Last thing you want to do is build it and then hear that it needs to be lengthened or something. So
Yeah.
and I thought this was really helpful. It's more than we've seen before, and I think it's really good.
In summary, what does it say? I haven't seen it.
Basically, Brett provided me with standards that we need to design to. We actually checked those with some of our turnarounds. And the road width, talked with him about that, how we were gonna do it. And we sent him over the plans. We did have a Y intersection that we just widened a little bit. You wouldn't even you'd have to put both maps together with a light table to try to see where it is, but we had to go a couple of feet wider with one of the Y intersections and then just discuss what the make of the road was gonna be with the shoulders to get a fire truck in.
For the sake of the folks who are with us who weren't here before, we give us just a brief
Sure.
overview of the project.
Sure, Easy, maybe if you could pull up the S1, it may actually be easier for me to.
Pulling it up right now. My computer got completely fixed by IT today, so it's hopefully running smoother, but it's still old.
Throw a few updates in and I'll take care of
Running hot.
it. Perfect. So,
No,
Yeah.
I just wondered what sort of things.
to give you a little recap.
Yeah.
There's what we consider to be the easterly side of the project and the westerly side of the project. The westerly side of the project, will come off of Pine Street. There's already an existing gravel drive, that goes down in, I think that's where Joel, whose property, isn't it, Bud?
He owned it, but.
He owned it,
a
so-
while ago.
Yeah. That goes in past the Lucille Kimball's property, that would go in, there's an existing access road that's there now. There's a nice open field where those two homes would be situated. They would have views to the north, very well drained sands. No issues with the wastewater. We do have the wastewater permit on that.
So 4 units coming off North Street, two duplexes.
Two duplexes coming off North Street
Right.
and two single-family homes coming off Pine
Nice
Street.
street.
And those have remained consistent. We tweaked some of the locations. We were finalizing all the stormwater stuff today. That was submitted with the last packet where we had showed you the stormwater infiltration area between the two homes, and other than the letter from the fire department, and we did swap out the light fixture. That John brought that up at the last meeting, so there was an opt-out for a new light fixture where
Yes.
the bulb is actually recessed up into
Okay,
the
so-
unit itself.
Of the materials you gave us on lighting, there were lots of choices, so I just want to make sure which one you're going with.
I believe the one that you just put your hand on is
The top one, so.
Yep.
That look right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is, I don't know how to refer to that.
Yep, there's the one that AZ just pulled up.
Yep.
So we didn't change,
What do you call
The gooseneck.
we call it a
it? I
gooseneck.
know that's the side,
Yeah.
there's lots of goosenecks.
That's the same,
Is it all the same?
it is,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
If you go to
Okay.
Google lighting specs, you'll get about 18 sheets per fixture.
Mhm.
I tried my best to keep it contained, but it just,
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't change the call out on the drawings because we had a gooseneck.
Sure.
We had a gooseneck fixture in there before. The only difference with this one is the bulb is recessed up in. Well, the fixture itself, it doesn't protrude out below. I think John was saying.
I just have a quick comment on that, just from personal experience. My interest is in the downlighting, the shielded bulb aspect. I'm not interested in the particular fixture so much, but my experience with those actual fixtures, the neck on those is fairly slight, given the size of the shade, and so the shade kind of acts like a sail. And the neck is vulnerable. So there are models that are essentially the same, that are bulkier, that are like beefier, and I would recommend those. I have personal experience with exactly that model you have, and they don't hold up so good. So you can get something essentially exactly the same, but like
We can
More
say, we can say as long as the bulb is recessed within the shade. Is that
Yeah.
a fair way to say
that's
it?
the concept that I'm interested in. The actual fixture is less important, but go for beefy if you can. Those are a little slight, and I've had a couple of those ones bend on me and they become garbage. So
Good to know.
Duly noted.
So, so we're looking at August 8th plan, is that right? overall site plan, August 8th, is there,
Yeah, and we have a 12/17/2024 revisions for the fire chief.
okay,
Did those get on the revision date of yours? No.
okay,
Yeah, so we had, it is an August 8th plan. The last
yeah.
set of revisions was 12/17.
So are you looking
And
at
I've
the-
got to correct,
All right, so,
those were the only changes with the shoulders
okay,
that we talked about.
so the revised on what date?
Was revised
Was
on
that 12,
December 17th, 2020.
So just looking at what Chief LaRose gave us. It looks to me that it's the driveway that serves the two residential, the single family homes that has to meet these standards, right?
And it does.
Okay.
Yep. This was the one
You got the link and up there?
we do.
Okay,
Yep. We sent it over to him and he approved. We actually have on the S3 drawing, we have all the length, all the dimensions are specified.
all right, good.
So we've got 50 feet and we've got 70 feet for the turnaround.
Okay.
This is the other side of it.
Right, and so, the King's memorandum. So he saw the revised.
Actually, we revised it, sent it to him and then he approved it.
Okay,
Yep,
so he saw S3,
he did. S1, S2 and S3. Those are
Okay.
the only changes. And if there's not a revision date on your top title block, with the exception of widening those shoulders, that's in the Y down by the houses, those are the two changes.
so there's not gonna be any. It's all one lot, so there's no common area.
Correct.
You're making two duplex apartments.
Yeah.
Well, so how are you handling the two single family homes? That's gonna be, well, it's all a PUD, I guess, but there's no common land?
Well, the whole parcel is in itself. I mean, Adam and Amber are gonna retain ownership. That's
No, I
gonna be
know
used
that,
by-
but as far as the open space, these are all gonna be rentals, that the plan, oh, okay,
So the renters would have
sure,
use of.
but you don't have divided ownership.
So both of the single family homes are also gonna be rented?
Yes.
As of now, yeah. Yeah, okay. Who knows, 30 years from now, but. Right.
Unless Adam and Amber come down to build one, then we would subdivide, then we could have.
Well, or if you're gonna have common land, you've gotta have declarations and rights and responsibilities to lay out people's rights with the common land in order to comply with Vermont law, that it's part of the PUD regs as well, but since right now it's all rentals, you don't have to deal with it, but if you were to go to individual ownership somehow, then you're gonna have to deal with
And we talked about that,
Yeah.
we did talk about that last time,
a little bit.
in a lot of cases, or when we're doing a lot of in Burlington right now, where. They could eventually, Adam and Amber could condominiumize these
Right, that's
parcels
the thing.
and just do a 5-foot. Lot right around each one and
Or
split it,
even the footprint,
or even the footprint,
I know.
and then they could retain ownership.
Right.
And it could be common land at that
Yeah,
point,
well,
but when we'd have to come back before the board to do that, so at that
Right.
point in time, we'd come
yeah,
through with our
we're
covenants.
saying the same thing, so
Yeah.
it's. If you were to have a PUD and there was common land, you have to have legal framework to. Set out how the common land is enjoyed, what the rights and responsibilities are, who's responsible for this, responsible for this and that. At this point, you don't need to deal with any of that because these are just tenants. It's
And,
not-
and you would come back if there was something along those lines that you were proposing.
We would have to, yeah, any footprint lots or any, if in the talk and. With Adam and Amber, they have also talked about potentially, they would build a house on the westerly side, and at that point, they would probably create a lot for themselves. And
Mhm.
the rest of it would be under common ownership.
Yeah, so is this village mixed? I don't remember.
HDR,
HDR?
believe so.
All of, what is it kind of?
That says village
Well,
mix.
it's-
Village mix. Oh, my
I think it's
apologies.
village mix.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
My apologies. Yes, village mix.
Okay.
All right, so you've got lots of, again, 15,000 square.
We've got
foot land.
15,000 square feet, so
Mhm.
There's some topography, and I know John, when we talked last time, he said, yeah, you could, certainly pack a few more in there, but. There's a big drainage divide that. Breaks up the parcels, so it makes it tough, and we had the water issue, which was kind of a challenge to get through.
And
get through that?
We did, oh yeah, we scaled back and didn't go with an 8-inch water main.
yeah, remind me
Except
we're coming off North Street with a water line?
And
coming off North and Pine.
Right, so but the North Street, is that 2-inch line coming off?
That's a 2-inch, as well as the line coming off of Pine Street. They're both 2 inches.
And tell me where it sits with the select board on the water line, you're deeding that,
Oh.
or we're deeding that over? Like we have on
No, it's going to be owned by Adam and Amber
the whole way? From the curb stop on North Street?
from the meter,
Where's the meter pit?
over on North Street.
Yeah, but where, is it in the, like out in the right of way, or is this
It's
before
in
it
the-
becomes 2-inch?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a 2-inch tap,
Yeah,
and then it's a curb stop,
yeah,
and then it's your meter pit. And then everything after the meter pit, the town owns to the meter pit,
yeah,
and then beyond that is Adam and Amber.
yeah, that's, okay, it's varying a little bit here and there with different developments, like Joel's, the town.
Oh, we know, we were part of all that.
Yeah, and-
We went
and-
back and forth, and there was
and-
not really a good decision made.
And Joy Drive,
Yep.
and, or Joy, whatever it is, up on Plank,
Jay Drive.
and, so, okay, so we don't need an easement here, we're not deeding, the town's not taking over that 2-inch line.
They're not. Neither
Few
one.
comments.
So you have two different meters, right?
Yeah, there's the main meter out front, and we actually talked about it where they could actually have meters at the houses. So each individual would get their own water meter, which is, smarter, or Adam and Amber can set the rent accordingly, they could have the 1 meter. In the meter pit, but it is required to have the meter pit. And we went around, this was the big holdup for like a year with how this gets constructed and how, and eventually.
The line and all of that.
Well, coming up, doing the calculations for the line was a piece of cake. That's not hard at all. That's
No,
just
but
math.
it's cost. right?
Yeah, but when you start talking about 8-inch ductile iron, that
Yeah.
cost jumps up. pretty quick.
Quite a bit.
John has some comments.
Yeah, John,
Yeah, a few random things. One, AZ, that sheet from the fire chief might be a nice thing to keep on hand, and you could almost get ahead of the chief if you handed that out to anybody coming in with this sort of situation, so that's just a sort of random thought. That's a very nice presentation right there. It's got all the information, it's got a little diagram. Anybody coming in with this sort of proposal was going to need that eventually. And man, if they got it when they walked into your office first thing, that would be pretty good for them. Second comment is I really appreciate you guys responding to my concerns about lighting. Thank you for doing so seriously and in such detail. I think ultimately it makes a big difference as we build out the village. Lastly, as you alluded to earlier, I do look when I'm a big supporter of this. I'm going to vote yes on this, but I do note that it's immediately north of the more dense packed part of the village, and there's some very nice terrain here. And I hope y'all don't build yourself out of options for even perhaps greater density in the future. So I understand we're late in this particular approval process, and that's okay. But this is a great place for density. And so if I would only offer that if you go home and you sleep on it and you're like, yeah, great place for density, means a couple of different changes, maybe the driveways are longer, create some more logical spots for future infill, and you needed to come back to us. I think I for one would be receptive to a quick change if it meant that you felt good about even more density in the future, because this is sort of the margin, right now it's the future village down the road. So I think you got a good thing here. I'm gonna support it. But I look at this nice, beautiful piece of land and the nice proposal you have for it. And I think, ooh, there, you know, there's at least some ADU potential there, maybe some other stuff. Anyway, just off of that.
And I'll speak a little bit to that, John. The easterly portion with the topography and with how the stormwater has to get treated on that side because of the length of the drive. It would be difficult to pack more units in there and do it nicely, but on the westerly side in that field where the two single-family homes are, there is more, you know, there is more opportunity there for sure.
Right. I mean, it's not really my place, but my one sort of thought is imagine those two single family homes run up more to the north along a longer driveway, essentially exactly as they are now, but just pushed up to the north a little bit. Then between the access, the main road access and those new homes, there's some ADU potential or something like that. Anyway, that's not going to affect my vote tonight, but when I look at this plat, I can't help but think that.
Anybody have questions from the board? Any additional questions? Have any more information to give us? See, Mr. Lathrop?
And it's not, and like John said, the only difference between it's actually not a plat, it's a site plan because. we weren't-
Right, so. Is the water line coming off Pine Street the same thing? We have a meter pit right close to the right of way on,
It's right there.
Yep.
It says it really small, but it's like,
Well, if you go down to the S two.
oh, I see it,
Yeah.
and the
yeah,
for over
okay.
here.
So from the meter pit,
Why?
so from the meter pit on, it's all you guys.
It is, yep, they own it. And it'll be new pipe. And installed correctly and
All right,
didn't have any issues.
any other questions from the board? I'll move that we approve the application, PUD application as submitted.
A second.
And I don't think we have anything else to add, other than you may, with the condition, we'll keep the lighting condition that the bulb must be recessed within the shade, but if there's a different type unit that you choose, that's fine. We're not gonna micromanage the actual.
Measure the diameter of the
Right.
gooseneck itself.
You said it had to be 3/8 of an inch.
Trust me.
We got up there, you guys are pulling all that.
No, that's all me, that's all me.
Jump on one.
Never underestimate the power of the wind to like parachute that shade.
I know what you mean.
I've seen
Crazy torque.
Yeah.
What John said.
Yeah.
It's, you have to,
Don't underestimate Mother Nature.
so you
at all.
gotta.
I live on the edge of the bank here, right, that goes down to the river bottom, and because of the vegetation, there's always wind going east or west above the bottom, you know, it kind of flows through the low point. So we get these cyclonic winds along the bank here. They're like mini tornadic winds, and they have lifted light fixtures completely off of the outside of my building because they get up under it and crazy. It may be unique to this spot in the village, but
So, I mean.
go beefy.
No plat to record.
So just make sure that you got on the finalized plans, I want them all to say revised 12/17, if they don't. Absolutely. Get those to AZ, so that's one condition on the vote, that the final plans all show the revision date of 12/17/2004. Other than that, 2024. Yeah, I want that, I want it 20 years ago. It was a very, very good year.
That's really hit the fourth on.
Yeah.
Back to the future.
We want, we want everything to at least be relevant 24 years or 20 years ago. Okay, so that's the only condition that we've got. Anybody else see any conditions?
I would amend my second if necessary to
Yeah.
encapsulate that.
Okay. We're good. All right, all those in favor? Aye. 6-0. We are done with you folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Quite nicely
We
done.
will look for the decision so we can submit the
Yeah.
application. Permit with it.
No, there you go, but I have to. Watching the video.
Yep.
So I'll have to take you through.
That's fine.
Three, we get the minutes.
We're pulling the trigger, submitting the stormwater,
Yeah.
and then the Act 250.
But you've got site, or you've got wastewater and water supply.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we submitted that one a while ago.
No, I thought you,
Yeah.
no, I thought,
How long will your?
I thought you said that, so
250
where our minutes?
Hey, Don't take
for
long,
both
we've
October
gone through and what we
Yeah.
do, we did all the
This is
pre-approvals
October.
first. So I've actually had the
1, 2,
wetland person out there,
three,
they remember, it's been
4.
about 2 years.
Mhm.
And then I've had the archaeology folks out there,
Yeah.
and we've done the time.
October
act.
8th, it's
Three
1,
big
2,
players
and then
with
three.
Act
Three,
250,
right,
and
3 of
taking
3.
care of those guys.
And then,
So,
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're wise to that.
well, we know the one, but it is Act 250, so it does open up,
and this is the public notice.
you know, others.
And that was posted in the
Those-
paper.
Come out of the
Well,
woodwork.
yeah, guys, have been at it for a while, yeah, so I don't think you'll run into any opposition.
Although this
It's
is
a good
not.
plan.
Well, it is a good one.
So,
This is
And
not a
it's down
subdivision.
over the bank where nobody
Yeah,
can
it's
see it.
speed.
Right.
Yeah.
609.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Not a, this is more important than section.
Thank you.
I'll add that for next time.
All right, so we have before us the October 8, 2024 minutes for, let's see, and it was me, Rebecca, Ted, Dale, John, Brenda, and Tom. So everybody, we got 6 people here. And that was the what Peter lost him in Carson Road 20-foot waiver because of he was in the floodplain.
That was a while ago, huh?
Yeah. And then Clark was the sketch plan. And sketch plan for Butler.
That was slow last year.
I know, and then, and then it was Joel Bouvier's final plat. So let's take a moment to look at those.
I would go ahead and move that we adopt them.
Well. Has everybody had a chance to
Yeah,
review
yeah,
them?
yeah, I've read through most of them.
I did before you got here, but
Okay.
I'm okay waiting if you need.
No.
Who, I'm curious who's taking minutes, because I think the minutes are rather good, so
Carol Chamberlain.
thank you then to Carol.
Yeah, I'll let her know. She gets all the YouTube videos as soon as they're posted.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to do this.
Mm-mm.
I've
It's-
transcribed a lot of meetings and
Brenda, you're always the closest read on these things. You're
It's
good?
okay, is that the one you found the typo on? then?
Yeah, actually, it's the December 10th one that has a typo.
Okay, so does anybody have?
And I can easily correct it, and then it looks nice if somebody has to go back to.
Yes.
So does anybody have any changes for the October 8 minutes?
No.
No.
Okay, I move that we approve the October 8 minutes as directed.
I'll second it.
Dale seconds, okay, all those in favor? Aye. So all of us present were able to vote on that one, that's that day. So next is the 10th of December. And let's see, we had Ash, that was the Lathrop Mill appeal of the notice of violation, or no notice, the appeal of the no action decision. And the second thing was the preliminary review of the 6-unit PUD for Thomas North Street. So this, that we just finished off today. And then there was, the library had a setback waiver that we approved. And yep, that's it. Those were the 3 things on the agenda.
may I offer a comment that's not relevant to the minutes per se, but I just want to thank the board for giving Ash Smith and his mom a chance to really be heard. I think they were heard well. And I think it's an important issue, and I understand that we're not really in a position to help them, but I do want to flag the issue, which is, you know, vexing to me. I don't know how to handle it, but this issue of an existing use that is kind of impactful in a way that the neighbors have noted, however you want to define that, in this case, operating, loud machinery late at night next door. And it's really a tough quandary for us and for the town, really, and for the neighbors. But I just want to compliment the board for making that space for that to be heard, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I've known Ash since he was a young man. He's very conscientious and interesting person, and his family's an interesting family. And I just think it was worth hearing all that. So thank you all for your patience.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. Yeah, I have the same sentiments.
Anybody have any, you had a correction, Rebecca?
Yeah,
Where are you?
on page 2.
Yeah.
The second paragraph from the bottom,
Yeah,
Jason
right.
is
Oh,
misspelled.
yeah.
And I believe Bernard is as well. Either it's misspelled there or it is the paragraph below
It
it.
should be.
It's
Is that two A's?
Barnard.
Okay, so yeah, just Jason and then
I-
Bernard needs to be Barnard.
Well,
But the rest
You
is
did.
fine.
Good eye.
As well as Aaron.
So, so we have a couple corrections there to correct the spelling on Jason's name. It's actually correct in the next paragraph down.
Mhm.
So Carol can make that change. Carol, second to last paragraph, page 2. Jason, Jason, Barnard, Barnard. Any eagle eye catch any others?
I caught one before you guys even saw it. I
Whoa.
was gonna say that.
You
Whoa.
already fixed one?
Yeah,
Nice.
but
Oh,
I usually try to go over them before they get sent to y'all. So I appreciate you double checking my double check.
okay. Anybody find anything else that needs attention? All right, seeing none, I move that we approve the minutes with the sole correction noted of December 10, 2024.
Second?
Rebecca seconds. All those in favor? Aye.
but
6-0. Well, let's see, I didn't say, so the 10th was me, Rebecca, Ted, John, Brenda. So
And Tom.
And Tom.
and Tom, but Tom's not here. So Dale doesn't vote, so it's me. So it's 5-0 on approval of the December 10 minutes. All right, we're done. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, folks.